speaking English well is required for you to succeed. It's so unbelievably important, and so many people, they come to United States, they do a very good degree at top school, and they go into the workplace, but they allow themselves to stop improving the way they speak, they stop improving their accent, and as a result, it significantly holds them back. Now, why would you not improve something that is so easy to fix? Well, maybe not easy, but simple. You just need to do certain things and it will help you to improve dramatically. Now, when I immigrated for the first time, and I immigrated 3 times in my life, all 3 times into English-speaking country, and I grew up in former Soviet Union, then Russia, so I spoke Russian as my first language and only started really learning English as a teenager when I was doing my degree as a pianist, because I needed to sing to make money and I needed to sing in English, so I needed to memorize English songs, and for me to memorize them, I needed to understand what I'm singing. And I also had to start working on my pronunciation, and that's why I started learning English in the first place. And so when I immigrated for the first time, which was to South Africa, I didn't speak well at all. In fact, I knew so few words that I barely could explain what I wanted to say to people. And I remember my common reply to everything was, "That's wonderful," because I just didn't know what else to say. I also didn't have my dictionary. So I couldn't buy a dictionary in South Africa, which is Russian English. There's not enough demand for them to sell dictionaries like that. And I didn't take one from Russia because I thought I could buy it there and it's heavy, and I could instead take something that is very important to me, like photos of my family, for example. And so I arrived to South Africa. I speak very few words of English and I had to survive there. I had to find a job. I actually was working at multiple jobs at the same time, full-time, and then 3 part-time kind of jobs that I was doing as an entrepreneur. I was teaching English, Russian, singing, and translating Russian documents, and teaching piano, so 4. And so I remember when I was trying to force myself to learn English, what made a huge difference is when I started reading a lot. So I decided that I needed another degree because my piano degree was not recognized in the West at all, and so I needed another degree. And I started studying, and I had to read a lot, and that helped me significantly. And I took myself from not being able to speak few words of English, and end of 2003 I immigrated. Then 2005 I was already working full-time, and I was getting rapidly promoted, and by the end of 2006, I got a job at the international management consulting firm, and my proper professional career as a business person began then. So I very quickly was able to move myself through the improvement stages of speaking English. Now, I would like to share with you 3 tips that can help you improve your English. And I know many of you are already very successful. You already studied at top university in United States or Canada or UK, and you already speak relatively well, but there's so much more you can do. So 3 tips for today. Number 1 is reading aloud. So that helped me significantly. I remember even when I just immigrated and I was preparing my initial job interviews, I would read aloud, and somehow it would help me really be able to speak better on that day. It wasn't just accumulating over time, but also on that day, if I read aloud in the morning, I could speak better during the day. And this is not something that I ever heard anyone talking about, but it is incredibly powerful for me. So I want you to check it out because it can help you significantly as well. So what should you be reading aloud? Now, you want to read aloud something worthwhile. So I would recommend actually reading something that can be helpful for you in terms of building up your business judgment and just understanding of how to succeed. So you can read very good books. And I actually highly recommend you to read my daily newsletter. Almost daily I send newsletters. They are very impactful. And I believe that what we share in our newsletters is actually much more powerful than what many books are sharing, and there you have to pay for it, and newsletters are free. So use this link to get that daily newsletter. Number 2 is identify sounds that you are mispronouncing. So I remember when I immigrated for the first time, the biggest mistake I was making, I was saying this and that instead of this. So your tone between your teeth. And that one thing, once I realized that I was making this mistake, and no one even explained it to me. I was actually speaking to someone who was Russian as well, and they were saying it this way. And this is when it really landed for me, how wrong it was. And I forced myself to actually learn how to say this, that. Another common one for people who are natively Russian speakers is R, the way we pronounce R, because when we grow up, we are actually taught to pronounce R very differently. So we say robot instead of car. So this is another one for me. So identify what it is for you. And number 3, record yourself. So you can start doing videos. You don't need to share it with anyone. You can just do it for yourself and check what you need to fix and keep on improving. You will be surprised by how much you can improve just by being able to see how you're currently speaking and where you're making mistakes. And also this will allow you to become much more comfortable in hearing yourself speaking, and also find a way to adjust the way you're speaking so that you sound more attractive, and also so it is much more correct in terms of your pronunciation. And next, you can check out another video I created on how to improve your accent in 2 weeks, where you can find other very powerful tips on how you can improve your accent.